Ike, where are you?
I'm over here, Andrew. Shh.
What are you doing over here?
You had me convinced that there was a monster on the mountain, and I had to get away from there. I even stopped and picked up some monster mace.
Ike, there are no monsters. That's just a term I use in marketing.
It is? Are you sure?
I'm positive. Look, come with me and I'll explain.
All right. You better be right.
Hi, this is Andrew Sokol, International Business Consultant and Branding Strategist.
And I'm sales trainer Ike Krieger, developer of the Your Open is Your Closed sales system.
Ike and I are dedicated to making advanced sales and marketing strategies available to small and mid-sized businesses.
These are techniques formerly available only to very large companies with very large budgets.
This video is one way you can have access to the business secrets of the world's most successful companies.
So relax, enjoy, and learn from this week's 5 for 5 video tip. Hi everybody. This week's episode of 5 for 5 centers around a conversation that we had with one of our subscribers named Jesse. And Jesse has a small business which is doing very well. He's very proud of it, but he just heard that a major franchise that does basically the same thing Jesse does is moving into the neighborhood, and it really concerns him. So Jesse's question is, how do I deal with a well-known competitor?
And one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about that this week is because a lot of small businesses are being faced with this now. A national or even international chain is opening up a location right in their market, taking business away. And we're going to talk about this strategy for dealing with that in a whole new way today. I'd like you to start to think of branding and marketing geographically.
Geographically,
I want you to think of it territorially and your industry as a mountain within that territory.
A mountain.
Exactly. And on the top of that mountain is a monster. And the monster is your competition, the industry leader, the big kahuna who's coming into your marketplace and planning to take business away.
Now, I've heard you talk about that industry leader that has that position on top of the mountain as the king of the hill. Now, I suppose that depends on your perspective?
Yeah, I guess if it's you that's at the top of the mountain, it's king of the hill. If it's someone else, it's definitely a monster. And in Jesse's case, it's a monster. So how do you compete against such a formidable foe when it comes to marketing your business? There's a couple of ways to do that. There's two strategies. One is something that I call counter strategy, and we'll talk about that in a future 5 for 5. Today we're going to talk about something that is very interesting, because what you're going to do is not find the weakness in your competitor's business, but you're going to look for the weakness in your competitor's strength.
Okay, please explain that.
Okay. Probably easiest to explain with a couple of examples. And the first example is a classic. I'll take you back a couple of decades, actually, to the days when marketing books and articles were written about the wars in marketing. There was the Cola Wars, and there were the Burger Wars.
I remember.
And the burger wars were fought between the monster of the mountain at that time and still today, which is McDonald's, and number 2 in the market at the time, Burger King. Now, Burger King understood that it had to start by identifying the strength in the McDonald's business model. Ike, what would you say that strength is?
A reproducible system that had hamburgers waiting for you the moment you walked in the door.
That's exactly right. And what would you say is the weakness in that very strength?
Lack of customization.
That's exactly right, too. And Burger King knew that and built the now classic Have It Your Way campaign around that weakness in McDonald's strength. So now let's fast forward to today, where I was recently talking with a client who has a small coffee house. Who would you imagine is the monster on the top of Coffee Mountain?
Well, as I look up, I see on top of the mountain this entity known as Starbucks.
Starbucks, a formidable entity, if you will. How do you compete with a foe like Starbucks? Well, the place to start is to identify the strength in the Starbucks model.
Okay.
What kind of strength would you say that is?
Well, they're conveniently located, and you can pretty much get any type of coffee-related beverage imaginable.
That's exactly right. Starbucks has actually made all kinds of coffee accessible to all kinds of people at affordable prices. As a result of that, what's the weakness in that strength?
It's pretty crowded most of the time. There are kids there, so I guess with the blenders going on and people calling out your order, it's noisy too.
It's noisy, right, a little chaotic and always busy. So what I recommended to my client was that they take advantage of that weakness in the Starbucks strength and position themselves as the quiet, peaceful, relaxing place to have a cup of coffee.
Makes sense.
After all, I don't know about you, Ike, but when I go for a cup of coffee, that's why I go.
Yeah, relax.
Relax, read a book, maybe even meet with a client. I want a place that's quiet and relaxing. So you can see how these kinds of Fortune 500 strategies can be applied even to a small business.
Could you recommend an action step for our viewers?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, today's action step has 3 steps in it, and I've written them down. First, identify the leader in your marketplace. Obviously, you have to know who the monster is. Second, identify at least one strength in the business model of your competitor.
Okay.
And third, identify at least one weakness within that strength.
All right, so we want to identify the leader, identify a strength, and identify at least one weakness.
Exactly, and this is going to be a very interesting action step for you this week because it may allow you to find that Achilles heel even in the monster on the mountain so that you can grow your business no matter who moves next door to you. So do that this week. My name's Andrew Sokol.
And I'm Mike Krieger.
See you next week.
Bye.